time for Sweet Home Cannabama, a show that'll answer all your questions, provide accurate information, and dispel the myths of cannabis. And have your specific questions answered by emailing Jennifer@cannabama.com or text or call 343-0106. And now, for all things cannabis in Alabama, here's your host, Jennifer Boozer.
Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm your host, Jennifer Boozer Stewart. You're listening to Sweet Home Cannabama here out of Mobile, Alabama on FM Talk 106.5. We're live streaming also from YouTube and social media. So if you are watching from your computer, your phone, wherever you're at, I think my husband probably watches it on YouTube TV. Share it. Share it with your friends and family. Let's talk about it. We've got an important topic tonight. This is very Alabama-centric. So everybody put on your listening ears. Thursday, let's get into these current events. Thursday, the Alabama Medical Cannabis Coalition issued 3 out of 4 dispensary licenses. Now, remember, they gave licenses and took them back 3 other times in the last 4.5 years. So Thursday, they actually issued these licenses. There are 3 of them. The 4th license has been challenged. And I think they're going to start addressing that at the end of January, I believe, sometime around the end of the month. Not sure how that's going to go. But as of Thursday, we now have 3 licensed dispensary companies for the Alabama Medical Cannabis Program. And that means 9 dispensaries are on the way for the entire state. I do know that there will be at least 1 in Mobile and 1 in Daphne. So our listening area will have at least 2 dispensaries, and who knows after that. But what this does is now that these dispensary licenses have been issued, now doctors can officially apply to be certified as medical cannabis physicians in the state of Alabama program. And also, it triggers the patient registry process that will be coming up soon. I don't have any information as of this broadcast yet on how you can get a medical cannabis card or any of those questions. We know lots and lots of people have, but I would encourage you to go to the Alabama Medical Cannabis Coalition. That's why people get that AMCC and the ACC confused. I apologize. The Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission, their website will have all the details as they come out. So I encourage you to go there and look for information. As far as the integrated facility licenses, which is the last category to be licensed, we're being told that sometime this summer, they will go through the same process that the dispensary license applicants did. But we do not have a solid date on that yet. So obviously be watching for that. And again, check the AMCC website for more details. On the hemp side of things in Alabama, the ABC obviously still has not issued any hemp licenses. Today is January the 12th. So there are businesses that have had to close their doors now for 12 days. And we have no idea when any licenses will be issued. I think the application process is supposed to be from January 1 to February 14th. So it's probably likely that none of them will be issued before that February 14th date. But we don't know. Again, every time anybody in the industry calls their local ABC office, a different answer is given. So, I would say shop local, but there's nothing to be had. And we don't have any idea when this will kind of come to an end. I feel very sorry for all of my colleagues who are out there trying to keep it going, because I know how substantial even a day or two in a loss of sales is to a business, much less almost 2 weeks now. It's interesting because the hybrid shops are the ones, a lot of the shops that are still open are these hybrid shops that sell nicotine alternatives as well. And I know we've talked about that before. And the way the licensing is set up, they will not be able to go and get a license as is. You can have hemp products if you are a liquor store. You can have them if you're a grocery store, as long as you meet the requirements, square footage, that kind of thing. But if you are a hybrid hemp and vape shop, you will either have to drop your nicotine alternative products, which, by the way, is the only reason anybody's going to be able to pay rent this month, or they will have to add liquor, a significant amount of liquor in the store, and have all of the things that come with that. And I find that very ironic because of how many of us see addicts in recovery that come through and rely on us for products that help to get them and keep them sober. And I would like to point out, because of the significant amount of press that Representative Andy Witt, who sponsored HB 445, has been doing in the last 6 months. And he has said this in a couple different ways. But basically, Andy Witt has been quoted in the press as saying, if you have to reach over the beef jerky, it's not medicine. But unfortunately, the law that he passed now means that customers will have to reach over whiskey and vodka to get their medicine. So I would love it if anyone could help make that make sense. Lobby groups, veterans, and advocates are either in D.C. or on their way. Our good friends John and Kara Grady from Missouri just left this afternoon, and they are going to D.C. asking Congress for a 24-month extension on this piece of legislation that was passed, tucked into the continuing resolution / appropriations bill in November. And they changed the definition of hemp federally, and that change would effectively wipe out hemp in America. There are no plants that we know of and no products that would meet the legal requirements laid out in that legislation that was slipped in by none other than Kentucky's Mitch McConnell in order to open the government back up. That was part of a ton of other things that was included in that bill. And so we were given a 12-month moratorium on that law going into effect. And so these advocates, these veterans, these industry giants, lobbyists are all heading to DC to basically ask for an extension by 24 months so that farmers that are currently planting can survive and decide whether or not to continue, and businesses can either exit gracefully or figure out a negotiation otherwise, and something better that would actually basically be protecting the consumer, providing rules for safety, quality, consistency, and safe hemp farms around the country. So to anybody who is up there in DC, I say up there because we're way down here, but anybody on their way to DC or in DC, we wish you all the best of luck and give them hell. And I want to go ahead and start talking about our guest. His name is Damion McClellen. He is the social media and web director for the Alabama Cannabis Coalition. You hear me talk about them a lot. I am very heavily involved as the communications director, and we wanted to we've been talking about doing this episode since August with Marty Shelper, the founder and president of the ACC. And this show is especially important going into the 2026 legislative session, which starts tomorrow, by the way. We just went from the most wonderful time of the year to step into the most traumatic time of the year. If you are in hemp or cannabis advocacy or the industry or are a consumer these days, because, it's Alabama. But we want to get on here and we want to tell you how you can best help us as we take on this new legislative session. We're still reeling from HB 445, and now we've got to face down things like SB 1 from April Weaver. There's another bill that's been pre-filed to add an additional felony charge if you are pulled over and caught smoking cannabis or vaping cannabis with a child in the car. Is additional felony charge. So these are just the beginnings of what we're going to be facing, and then trying to figure out how to undo some of the damage that was done to the hemp and cannabis industry in the last year, because it has been one hell of a year. So I want to go ahead and welcome Damion to the show. Welcome, Damion.
Hey.
Hey, I hate to bring you on right before we have to go to commercial break, but I wanted to fit it in there so that when we do come back from the break, we can start to dive in. But I want to say thank you for being on the show tonight and for being willing to do this. Not everybody likes to be interviewed or get on camera and on the radio. So thank you for being with us tonight. When we come back from the break, we'll be with Damion McClellen from the Alabama Cannabis Coalition. Stay with us.
If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, please call this toll-free number right now, 800-410-4036. That's 800-410-4036. Calling your addiction team. You're taking the first steps to recovery. Don't fight addiction alone. Their advisors are ready to take your call. Your future is still a bright place. The help you need could be one call away. 800-410-4036. That's 800-410-4036. This call is completely confidential. And if you have private insurance, there could be little to no cost to you. Even if you've already been to treatment, give us a call. There is no need to let addiction ruin your life. Take the first step now. Call your addiction team at 800-410-4036. That's 800-410-4036. Make the free call now. 800-410-4036. Your addiction team is a third-party advertiser for various treatment centers and placement networks. Individual results will vary. Visit youraddictionteam.com/terms for more information.
We weren't sure adoption would happen for us, but when it did, it happened threefold.
Mary and her husband first met their 3 children when they became their foster parents. Little did they know that their house would become the siblings' forever home.
We had to help them adjust to the idea that they wouldn't have to leave. Children in foster care have lived and survived so much. We had to help them process their trauma. And now to hear our children say that they know they have a mother and father who take care of us, teach us, and love us means everything.
The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is committed to finding safe, permanent homes for the longest waiting children in foster care.
I not only love these kids, I am just so proud of them.
You can help. Visit davethomasfoundation.org.
Welcome back to Sweet Home Cannabama. Now with all the information you want about cannabis, here's your host, Jennifer Boozer.
Welcome back, everybody, to Sweet Home Cannabama. I'm your host, Jennifer Boozer Stewart. And just before the break, I introduced our guest and we had to go to break. But I want to say we are talking tonight to Damion McClellen. He is the social media and web director for the Alabama Cannabis Coalition. Welcome to the show, Damion.
Thank you for having me on. I'm excited to be here to represent the ACC.
Good. Me too. Tell us where you live in Alabama and how long have you lived there?
So I've lived in Alabama my entire life. I grew up in like the St. Clair County area near Birmingham, but about 4 years ago, I moved up to the Albertville area, and I've been up here since. I'm born and raised. I plan to be in Alabama probably to the day I die.
Well, I am not from Alabama, but Alabama has been my home most of my adult life, and it is my children's home, and I do love the state of Alabama very much. So I plan on being here for the rest of my life, too. Well, what made you decide to get into cannabis advocacy? Did you just wake up one day and go, I'd like to do something really hard that nobody will help us do against all odds in one of the most conservative states in the whole country?
Well, I've always been not always active in the advocacy, but I've always supported the legalization of it. But about 3 or 4 years ago, my grandmother got sick with leukemia, and I had to watch her on the different pain pills and morphine they were forcing her on. And it was like just seeing that. I don't want to see more people go through that kind of harm when there's natural options out here.
Right.
That was a big thing.
We all have a why. No matter what our role is in this, we all have a why. And mine was my own personal health And then when I figured out just the beginning stages of finding out what it was going to do for me, I couldn't think of a person I knew that couldn't use it, and when you start to see it in that way, it's pretty crazy, isn't it? You see people everywhere you go, you need cannabis.
Oh, absolutely. It's a miracle medicine, honestly.
Right. Well, yes, we've seen enough to know that this is something that shouldn't be taboo. It shouldn't be scandalous. And the majority of the population shouldn't be completely unaware of all of her glory, if you will. What do you think has been the biggest challenge since you have gotten into the advocacy work and come alongside Marty in trying to make the vision come to life and inspire the people of Alabama? What do you see right now has been the biggest challenge in that?
So in like my personal advocacy, the biggest challenge I had early on was getting over the fear. Just being scared to speak up and putting yourself out there like that.
Yep.
But before I got involved, I sat there and watched the ACC and Marty out here doing stuff, and that really what gave me a lot of the confidence to stand up and start getting active like that.
Right. It is scary. I can remember those first several conversations with the people in my life, especially someone in recovery, to bring up the subject of cannabis, which most people would put in the same box as alcohol and illicit drugs and things like that. And, that is a big challenge. The fear. I mean, I guess I still experience that, when a stranger asks me, what do I do for a living? Or, it's like, well, how much time you got? How comfortable are we right now? Because you never really know how people are going to respond. Most people are totally okay with it, but every once in a while, you get somebody that is just like, get away from me, like you have the cooties or something, and it's pretty interesting.
There's definitely that one in a few out there still.
Yeah, right. Well, what do you see as the greatest need in cannabis advocacy in Alabama from where you sit now, having been on board with us and gotten into the nitty gritty? And I mean, you've written these eloquent posts to inspire people to get active and involved. And I appreciate your perspective so much. And I know I can speak for myself, and I'm pretty sure I can speak for Marty, that sometimes you feel like a broken record and, is this thing on? Is anybody here? Am I talking to no one? But what do you see? I mean, you're significantly younger than even me. And so you're a totally different generation. And I'm interested to know, because you would think that more people in your age group would be easy to talk to. What do you think is the greatest need we have in advocacy in Alabama? How do we talk people out of their stigma, their fear, their reefer madness mentality?
So yeah, I'd say the biggest thing we need right now is just more education, allowing people to upfront see how things work and actually understand it, ending the whole stigma, people being scared to even talk about it openly because they think they're going to get in trouble for it or something.
Right.
And then also, I think people need to get more comfortable speaking up and get we're going to the lobby days soon. That's a good chance for people to stand up and actually share their story with the people who matter.
Right. Do you think that there is I think there is, but do you think there is a disconnect between what the people of Alabama think and how they feel about cannabis and what the legislators either believe or want to believe?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can any post about cannabis in anywhere around, you can see all the support in the comments. Many people are online very vocal about what they want. But then we have our representatives sitting here doing the exact opposite of what the people are asking for. I
agree. I've seen posts that have 500 comments, and 4 of them are like, "No way, we don't want that here." And the rest of, I mean, some people even they joke, they crack jokes, they're super sarcastic. It's like, is there really that much fear? I don't think there is. The fact that that organizations like the ACC existing for as long as it has and putting all this information out there relentlessly. What we're trying to do here with Sweet Home Cannabama is getting that information out to people relentlessly. I just don't think that they have any real understanding of what actually happens on the street, in the shops, in the churches, and the communities of this state. And so many people, I hear this a lot, are like, oh, it's the Bible beaters. It ain't the Bible beaters, honey. Right?
Oh, yeah. I know quite a few the Bible lovers who are all about their cannabis for sure.
Well, I mean, so surely they've read Genesis 1:29. I mean, come on. It gets to the point where it, just like everything else that's going on in the world, you look at it and go, do you want me to be that stupid, or do you really honestly think I'm that stupid? And it gets insulting after a while, I think.
I agree.
Yeah. The condescension, I think, we know what's best for you. That's not how this works. That's not how it's supposed to work anyway, right? We're supposed to elect people that then come back to us and go, okay, gang, what do we want to do? And then they go and do it. And I'm not sure when that stopped happening, but it absolutely does not happen in this state.
Oh, no, our representatives are more concerned about donation money and stuff like that. They're not listening to us at this moment.
Right. So the legislative session starts tomorrow. And like I said before, we went from the most wonderful time of the year to the most traumatic, because last year, I'm still not sure how we all lived through last year. And I have been dreading tomorrow like so hard for the last 6 months, because we barely caught our breath, and then life just like totally went downhill. And now we have to go back. We have to go back to the very place that took away everything we had. We have to go back to those same people and now play nice, so they'll give us the time of day, hopefully, and continue to fight. And to me, the lines are blurred. Everything's in the air. We've got so much going on between the evolution of the enactment of HB 445 alongside federal legislation, and then coming back to the executive order, rescheduling the Medicare situation. I mean, there's so many things that are up in the air. It's really been hard to keep up with all of the changes, much less make any sense of them. Wouldn't you agree?
I mean, they've been changing it nonstop since it's come out. I mean, ABC keeps putting out new things that weren't the original stuff. Like, it almost seems like they're just trying to snuff it out.
Well, it's right. It's like they keep kicking the can down the road a little further, and a few of us drop off, and a few more drop off, and a few more drop off. And if they just keep kicking the can long enough, no one will be left to fight. And that's the way that it feels to me, of course, because I come from within the industry as well. So, I really don't know what it's going to take, but we have to keep trying. I know, and I know that what we do is good, and it's right. And we are ultimately, at the end of the day, we're fighting for the sick, suffering, and dying people of Alabama, and they deserve to be heard.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Okay, so and we're going to have to go to a break for in just a second, but I want to talk about the ACC website, because you, as the web director, web designer, you have done an amazing job, and it's a tool that the ACC has been really missing for a long time. And I know Marty is over the moon about how it's turned out. It's beautiful. It's easy to use. I want to encourage people to go. You can go right now, if you're watching from home, to alabamacannabiscoalition.org. Start checking that out. But there's so much there that people can use. I said earlier, go to the AMCC website if you have questions about medical cannabis, but everything else, you want to talk to the ACC. When we come back from the break, more with Damion. Stay with us.
FM FM Talk 1065, the Gulf Coast Weather Authority, and Dr. Bill Williams.
The Gulf Coast can expect mostly clear skies. Tonight will be cold with temperatures in the lower 30s at daybreak. For Tuesday, mostly sunny with highs around 60. And the outlook for Wednesday, a slight chance of a morning shower with high temperatures in the lower 60s. This is meteorologist Dr. Bill Williams for FM Talk 1065.
FM Talk 1065, the Gulf Coast Weather Authority.
I'm Roseanne Haven from WKRG News 5. A barge carrying crushed cars has been burning all day in the middle of Mobile River. Black smoke could be seen for miles north of the Africatown Bridge. Mobile firefighters say it could take days for the fire to burn out. The smell of burnt rubber has been overbearing for folks downtown. Big changes on the way to a busy road in Mobile. City leaders say crews will start working to improve Dolphin Street from the Spring Hill Golf Course entrance to Sage Avenue. You can expect new coordinated traffic signals, changes to the medians, new curbs, and resurfacing. Officials say this will help reduce congestion and make it easier to get to Spring Hill Medical Center. We understand the road will not be closed during the project. I'm Roseanne Haven from WKRG News 5. Local coverage you can count on.
A dog? I'm not. I was born for a purpose, to bring you hope, to guide you out of darkness, to stand by you as you rediscover life. When past battles cloud your mind, I push them away. You tell me I'm your hero, just as you are mine. You hold me when you're afraid, whisper that I saved you. With me by your side, no challenge is too great, no night too dark. I'm your guide, your companion, your friend, your light. A dog? I'm not. With me, you see the world again.
Discover hope at Dogs Inc. Visit us at dogsinc.org to learn more.
Welcome back to Sweet Home Cannabama. Now with all the information you want about cannabis, here's your host, Jennifer Boozer.
Welcome back to Sweet Home Cannabama, everybody. I'm your host, Jennifer Boozer Stewart, and we are live right now. We are live streaming. We are live on the radio, and we are talking with Damion McClellen of the Alabama Cannabis Coalition. Damion, let's get into this website. Now, say I am a citizen, and I want to know how to contact my representative. Maybe I don't even know who my elected officials are. What can we find on the ACC website to help with that?
So the biggest and most important tab with that would be our, we have a voter resources section directly on our menu on the website, which has things like our legislation watch, where we're keeping track of things like SB1 and these other bills around hemp and cannabis. We have all of our endorsements down there. We have links to jump you to the House and state members with all their contacts. We also have the Legiscan on there, where you can actually directly track the things more in detail.
And make public comment if you have the Legiscan. That is the actual language of the bill, and on the state website. And there's usually a place for public comment. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And so if I don't know who my elected officials are, can I look those up by my district or by my town? Is there a way for me to figure out who my elected officials are?
So we have a couple things that can help with that, like our we have a voter's guide, which will tell you everyone who's in office plus what areas they represent. It'll also tell you how to contact them, and then it also gives them like graded letters on how anti-prohibition or prohibition they are.
Right. Yeah, that was something that I thought was really helpful, because most of the candidates, in my experience, aren't going to talk about their stance publicly, at least not in elections in the past, unless they were directly involved with the hemp or cannabis legislation. You don't really hear from these candidates or elected officials what they actually personally feel, how they would vote, that kind of thing. So having that as a resource is really important. And I believe, so if I look up my senator and my House rep, it will tell me whether or not whether they are pro-cannabis and hemp or whether they are a prohibitionist, correct?
Yes, ma'am. It would show you on a scale from like A to F how pro-cannabis or anti-cannabis they are, and then it'll also tell you if they've gained a ACC endorsement or not.
Right, and that's another thing, because maybe they voted no on HB 445, but they won't publicly say whether they're pro-cannabis or not. They're going to get a certain grade. The ones that say outright, nope, not happening, that's an automatic prohibitionist. But what I found interesting and I think is helpful is because the ACC, Marty went and emailed every one of these candidates and gave them an opportunity, a lot of them multiple opportunities to say whether or not they are pro-cannabis, so that we could have that information. And a lot of them will ignore. They just won't answer. And so what do we do when they don't answer?
Yeah, sometimes they won't answer at all. They won't want to be public with us about their opinions. So in that case, we'll go through the internet and scrape out different interviews they've done in the past or any past tense time that they've been public about it, and we'll put together our best estimate on where they're at on that scale. Right.
And on their voting record, really, I mean, because you could say one thing, but when they go to vote for these bills for or against them, that's when the rubber meets the road with these candidates, because, again, they could say whatever they want to appease whatever group it is they're speaking to. But until they get up there and cast their vote, we don't really have any idea who's going to put their money where their mouth is.
Absolutely. Yeah. The action's definitely more important than just saying something.
Right. And so then, of course, you mentioned the endorsements of the candidates that have been asked and answered, yes, I'm pro-cannabis and hemp, and I would appreciate an endorsement. The Alabama Cannabis Coalition has published those as well on the website. We've interviewed many of them on the show all throughout the summer. We had pro-hemp and cannabis candidates, and we'll continue to do that through the midterms and even through the elections in November. But you can find all of this. Again, we're talking about the Alabama Cannabis Coalition website, which is alabamacannabiscoalition.org. Let's talk about lobby days. Last year we had one day in April where we invited the public to come and meet us at the State House, kind of a group outside that was rallying. That was the ACC, and then the Alabama Hemp and Vape Association folks were also there giving tours of the State House. I had a group of about 12 with me. 8 of them came from Mobile and carpooled with me. And, most people don't realize that any citizen can go to the State House, that it is not some invitation only. You have to be somebody. Any citizen in the state of Alabama who wants to can go to the State House, go through security in the lobby, and as long as you don't act a fool or do anything crazy, you can go and find your House rep, your senator. You can go and watch the proceedings as they debate and vote on the floor. And then, of course, they live stream most of these committee meetings and hearings on their YouTube page. So, it lends itself to being open to the public. But most people, a lot of the people that went with us to the lobby day did not really understand. I know Marie Hood that went with me. She said, I can't believe you can just come in there and walk around and talk to people. And I'm like, yes, their job is to talk to you, to know what you want. And so that was an interesting day. But the thinking behind lobby days was, why do one when we can give more people an opportunity, right?
Yes, ma'am. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. So, right. So people will have an opportunity to go up there and speak their piece if they want to print their story and drop it off on these guys' desks, whatever it is that they want to do, and make their voices heard. But instead of one day, we're doing 3. The first is January 27th. The second one is February 24th. And the third, it's March 17th. This session is a little bit shorter as far as months go. They're kind of cramming those 30 days in a little tighter because it is an election year. And so all of this will be wrapped up by March 23rd. So we have these 3 dates. And I want to talk about what are we doing as far as Lobby Day and how to register. Can you tell us a little bit? Let's just talk about registering. How can you RSVP? Hey, I'm coming to Lobby Day, and I'll be there from X city or X county or wherever. Where can they do that?
So if you visit our website at the Alabama Cannabis Coalition.org, we do have an events tab, which will give you all the currently public information about the event. And then through RSVPing on the website, you'll be added to an email list, and that's how you'll receive the actual direct info for the day of, such as the room number we're meeting in and everything.
Right. Yes. We will have to have a room assigned to us that we can meet in and sort of be our little home base. Hopefully we'll have some legislators that will actually stop by and talk to us all collectively. I know I've been to the other lobby days with Marty, and that's kind of how that worked. And then, we can proceed to go and give tours and take people around if they would like. And what else can we expect? I mean, what do we have planned?
Well, this isn't like a rally or protest.
Right.
This time around, we're going up there dressed professionally. We're going inside the house, speaking directly with our representatives. We're inviting all the citizens to come join us and be in a group so they can share their story without being in fear. But we want people to talk directly to the ones who make these laws and explain to them how cannabis does help them. So maybe it'll help them realize the issues they're causing by these bills. Right.
Sometimes there's a time to rally and protest. And sometimes there's a time to put on your Sunday best and go up there and act like you got some sense and, walk the walk and talk the talk, because I know it's very intimidating for me to be there. I always grapple with a little imposter syndrome. Like, I don't really belong here. What am I doing here? I don't really want to be here. But this is to me life or death for a lot of people. And so I'm there. But what would you say? I mean, will this be your first lobby day?
I attended one of the rallies last year, as it was my first year with the ACC, but this will be my first official lobby day, actually going inside and speaking directly with them.
Yeah. So, I mean, are you a little nervous? Be honest.
A little bit. It's hard not to be a little bit nervous with it, but it's like you said, it's an important thing to fight for, and I think it's worth putting the anxiety behind and just going through with it. Right.
Well, again, those days are January 27th, February 24th, and March 17th. You can RSVP and register on the Alabama Cannabis Coalition.org. And what about rides? I mean, what about people who want to go? Last year I had a carpool with 8 people, and we all piled in 2 vehicles and went down there together. And is there a carpool option for the ACC members who are having to drive to Montgomery from elsewhere, who may or may not be able to drive or have a vehicle?
Yes, absolutely. We have an ACC Lobby Day carpool group on Facebook, and when joining there, you're able to post your location where you're at and request rides, or you can go in and post the empty seats you have for your ride. But we do have the Facebook group to allow people to group for carpools like that.
Okay, yes. And I mean, if you can find a buddy or somebody that that's a great option, but not everybody has that option. And I happen to know that everybody I've ever met with, ridden with, had ride with me, show up to an event like this. We're all there because we care, A, about having freedom with the plant, but B, we care about our neighbors, our community, our families, our friends, people that we know need access to this plant and need it now, need it yesterday. So, it's interesting to me, the camaraderie. Wouldn't you agree? The camaraderie that can be found between, look at you hanging out with a bunch of old ladies on the ACC.
Oh yeah. The fight can definitely bring people together.
Yeah. All walks of life. You're talking about, people from every demographic, every socioeconomic group, every part of the state. poor people, wealthy people, educated people, sick people, healthy people. Everybody who has been affected or has someone that they love has been affected by sickness or disorders or disease that they couldn't battle without the help of cannabis, or they want to be able to have that as an option. So many people, the ones that are, and some days it does seem like the whole world's against us. I don't believe that that's true, because I talk to too many individual people. But I think a lot of times when we start to get that opposition at the State House, it feels like the whole world is against you. But again, people should have the option, whether or not they are planning on using cannabis themselves. You never know what life is going to hand you. When we come back from the break, Alabama Cannabis Coalition's Damion McClellen. We'll be right back.
Chances are you or someone you know is struggling with an addiction. And just like most things in life, if you ignore it, it won't go away. The truth of the matter is, if you want to reclaim your life, you need help. That's why you need to call the National Recovery Center sooner than later. We can't help unless you're ready to be helped. You need to want a better life. You need to want to stop the downward, out-of-control spiral you've been on. You need to make a conscious effort and take control. Our programs are designed to provide you with the care and support you need. Every person is treated with a unique treatment plan designed specifically for you, regardless of what stage of addiction you're in. Don't let the pain of addiction ruin your life. Call 800-950-0248. That's 800-950-0248. 800-950-0248.
Right arm, right leg.
Left leg, left arm.
Both legs above the knee.
Both legs, part of my left hand.
Lost both my legs in Iraq.
These 9/11 veterans are just a few of the heroes we serve at Homes for Our Troops. For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes with features like wheelchair access, roll-in showers, and pull-down cabinets that allow them to function independently and focus on their recovery and family. This life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans, thanks to our donors and supporters. But we need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Welcome back to Sweet Home Cannabama. Now, with all the information you want about cannabis, here's your host, Jennifer Boozer.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jennifer Boozer Stewart, your host. We're talking with Damion McClellen of the Alabama Cannabis Coalition. He is the social media and web design director. Damion, let's talk a little bit more about the session coming up. We've got two bills that we know of that are pre-filed that are relevant to the ACC. One of them is SB 1, sponsored by Senator April Weaver. She is a Republican. And this is the exact same bill that she filed last session when we were being carpet bombed. And it basically says that it bans any form of consumable THC from hemp and puts CBD and CBG into pharmacies only. So that would be CBD isolate, I assume, maybe broad spectrum, but no trace of THC whatsoever. So no full spectrum products at all. And again, only to be sold in pharmacies. That bill did not even go to committee last year. What are your thoughts? I mean, given that we are in the deep middle of trying to comply with HB 445 and trying to apply for licenses, do you think that SB 1 will get any real traction after all that?
I don't think it's really going to go anywhere. Like, I hope it doesn't, at least. I mean, if they are able to pass that, that would just be a final blow to this industry. I believe it would be the final, let the pharmacy take it and kill us all off. They're not going to care.
Right. Well, and it wouldn't make it pharmaceutical. It would just limit who can actually get a license to sell it. And I don't believe that pharmacies really want to deal with CBD and CBG. I mean, you can already buy CBD and CBG, terrible brands, weak products, stuff I would never put on my shelves. You can find those in CVS and Walgreens and Target, whatever. But anything serious, and again, making it CBD and CBG only means the effectiveness of those I mean, come on. There's, CBD by itself and CBG by itself, amazing things. But really, 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 the value lies in the entourage effect when you get all the chemical constituents of the plant. And this would not allow for that. There would be no such thing as full spectrum in the state of Alabama ever again. And I believe that is the first tragedy.
Yeah, it would first off severely limit the effectiveness, like you said. The multiple studies on cannabis already have shown that the real medical benefits overall come from full spectrum THC and CBD, CBG. They all need to work together,
right,
to create the truth that you're looking for.
Right, that's exactly right. I think you're right. I don't think that this will get much attention because they already got what they said they wanted, and they just about killed us all to get it. And it's been in play for over 6 months now, and they have literally turned the industry in Alabama upside down. They have thrown the ABC board for a loop for sure. And I'm betting if you got the ABC board to the side and some truth serum involved, they would tell you they don't want to deal with this either. But you're right. I don't think SB1 will have much traction. There is a House Bill 72. It is being sponsored by Representative Patrick Sellers, who's a Democrat. And this would be an additional felony charge for if you get pulled over and you're caught smoking a cannabis product, you're going to get arrested. That's its own charge. And now if it's a hemp product, you're going to go to prison for 10 years. But if it's a illegal cannabis, it's a misdemeanor. But if you are actively smoking or vaping it in your vehicle with a child present, that is on its own an additional charge, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So and I don't know anything about Patrick Sellers, what his motivation is. I'm actually surprised to see anything at all negative toward the plant coming from a Democrat.
Yeah, that is surprising. You don't usually see them go to after like that. No, and especially after last year, I tell people all the time, yes, we live in a Republican supermajority, and unfortunately for the hemp industry, the only elected officials who would go to bat for us were Democrats. But they just don't have the votes when it comes down to it at the end of the day to stop it from happening. If that Republican supermajority wants it to happen, it's all uphill. And I think that is one of the reasons why the ACC's work and the public outcry that comes with it is such an important part of all of this as far as advocating for the people of Alabama. So back to the website, and let's talk elections. Because in all of this craziness, during and after the legislative session, we have midterm elections in May, and everybody is up for re-election. From the governor down, all of the sitting legislators are up for election. And I think that it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. They must know, they obviously know, that when they are voting on bills and trying to pass certain bills in the session, they know that 2 months later, they will be up for election. And how do you anticipate that playing out? I think they upset a lot of people this last year. They received thousands of emails and calls during all this that were just blatantly ignored. Mm-hmm. So I think there's a good chance maybe people are upset enough that maybe their jobs are at risk.
Right.
Like on the HCC website, at the bottom of that voter guide, we do have a pretty long list of people who are running against the ones currently in office who are all endorsed and are pretty cannabis friendly.
Right.
People vote that direction.
Yeah, I think that's a huge distinction that we need to make sure people make on the website. There is a list of people who are currently in office and they have a grade, but there are also a whole list of candidates for various seats in various offices who have come out as pro-cannabis and hemp rather than let themselves be considered prohibitionists. And I think that is going to be one of the most useful tools on the website when it comes to voting. Can you find out how to register to vote? We have dismal voter turnout in Alabama. So if you're not registered, is there a way to find the link to register to vote on the website, or is that a separate thing?
Absolutely. That voters guide tab that we have on there, one of the top sections there is a button that if you click will bring you straight to the page where you could register to vote right on your phone or computer sitting in your own house, and it takes maybe 5 minutes old and you're ready to go.
Right. And the Alabama Cannabis Coalition, Marty and I have talked about this extensively. We have as a group. We are encouraging people, whether you're red or green, red or blue, we want you to vote green. If cannabis is a life-altering issue for you, especially, or someone that you know, we're encouraging people to be single-issue voters this year.
Absolutely. That's what's going to take to make things change. People got to stop focusing on parties and colors and focus on what matters and get the reform that we need. Right.
Yes. Let's stop doing this straight party blind loyalty, because when you really look at both sides with both eyes, it's all the same on one side or the other. And we've got to start honing in on the people who might actually have the best interest of the people of Alabama. What is the ultimate goal of the ACC for this session and this election?
For this session directly, our biggest focus is working towards repealing HB 445 and returning access back to Alabama that we previously had. We're also continuing our broader fight of decriminalization in Alabama. And as always, continuing for the home grow rights. Those are our big three things we want to focus on moving forward.
Right, because legalization, as we just witnessed this year with HB 445, when something is made legal, it can be made illegal just as quickly and without a care for who it affects. So, a lot of people think legalization is the answer. We do not ascribe to that. Decriminalization would take it off of, descheduling it from the Controlled Substances Act is a version of that to remove it from felonious activities and give it back to the people. So follow the Alabama Cannabis Coalition.org. Damion, thank you so much for being with us tonight, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me.
All right, guys, join us next week for another Sweet Home Cannabama. God bless you, and God bless Alabama Hemp.